So a few days ago, let's just get into it. A few days ago, big drop.
Big drop. Tell me what drop.
Pete, what's it's called? Pete Davidson and Friends. Is that what it is? What's the official title?
So the official title is Pete Davidson Presents The Best Friends.
Okay.
And it's on Netflix. So if you guys haven't, please go watch that. It's that was really a dope thing to be a part of. Like, for real.
And I'm not gonna spoil it for people who haven't watched it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it yesterday after I just was seeing it all over multiple people that I follow, obviously including you. And I'm not gonna spoil your set either.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, and I'm genuinely saying this, like, especially like the subject matter that you talked about, which is a touchy one. I thought you did such a fantastic job of, like it was in a lot of ways, and I don't throw this out lightly because I think like he's really the GOAT or one of the GOATs, but it was like, and Chappelle obviously talks about this subject a lot and he got demolished over it. But like the way you approached it, I really felt was like Chappelle-like. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
Like, and it was just it was brilliant. And it showed a lot about like knowing you, the way that you talked about, well, I can say the subject matter.
Of course you
They're
can.
basically like, I'm not going to say the joke, obviously, but it's like, it talks about like transgender, the subject matter around like trans everything. And the joke is around kind of your interaction with your barber, whatever. And, but it showed, for my main point is that it showed kind of who you are in your most like brilliant comedic self, and also in like you as the heart you have and the person you are. And wow, obviously it's a great joke too. So it's like, I thought that I was happy that of the like the few minutes that they show of each of the comics that they feature, that was like what was featured, because I thought that it was some of your best work.
Thank you, man. And to that, right? So the joke itself, and I ain't gonna spoil it. I'll give the folks that are watching like the little parts of it. So it's about an interaction that I had when I was going to the barbershop, right? And the premise is, I stay in my lane and I mind my business. That's the premise. I give you that much. And I go through like, it is based off of the actual story. Like I go through an interaction I had, and not with my actual barber. I walked in, my barber was gone, right? He was on vacation. He didn't tell me. And the other barbers that were there, they asked me something about Dwayne Wade's kid, right? And I truly didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know Dwayne Wade had children.
Yeah.
I didn't know, anything going on with them because I'm not supposed to, right? So then when they told me what was going on, that Dwayne Wade had a, child that was born one gender and one to become another. And we really had that conversation, right? Because I'm going like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because we talking about a kid, and I truly don't think you should be in a child's business like that, know? And if I can be honest, that's the one joke that like, how you take your time to get something right. It's almost like if you're going to go talk to a girl, right? You want to make sure that it's felt. And I'm very happy that, how do I put this? Because we recorded longer sets than what you guys
Right.
see,
That's what I imagined.
So I recorded maybe 12 minutes.
Okay.
Right? And they kept, and that bit is probably maybe 4.5, right?
Yeah.
So it was almost jarring at first to see that they cut me to that short, right? It was jarring to see that.
Right.
But to see how that joke went and to get the reaction from people, like, I really appreciate that, because one of the things that I'm big on is that people that act like comedians that know how to talk about those topics aren't here. And that really fucking bugs me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between what you see and what's available, or what they're showing to you and what's available. As somebody that's been out here for a while working these things, it's like, I don't see that topic as, something that you got to be afraid of, that you can't talk about. It's only how you talk about it. Right. So that's the thing behind that joke. Even when they sent like the clip for it, right? They sent one clip, and it started where it started a few seconds after I set up the initial thing, right? And I remember I sent my person. I was like, hey, I like the preview, but give me a little bit more the first sentence before that, because I wanted to be absolutely clear that I'm not making fun of the kid.
Right.
I'm only talking about the situation and how I think you should mind your business when it comes to children and what they think of themselves.
Yeah.
And the most touching thing about since the special came out is like getting messages from folks that are
Really?
like, bro, like legit people are saying shit like, I didn't even think I could enjoy comedy because of how, you know, their things been talked about. So to be a part of someone's day like that, like one lady hit me up last night and the shit, it's very touching. I don't take stuff like that for granted.
Yeah.
This woman hit me up, and I ain't gonna go back and find a message right now, but she hit me up and she said, you know, I have a child that's like, you know, questioning what they gonna do, whatever. And she was like, you know, we were watching your set for our breaths held, but you handled it so well. So shout out to her, shout out to everybody that watched it. I'm
awesome.
glad that that joke came out, because that was one of two jokes that like I was like, if they don't do nothing else, those better be in there. It was that one about that, and then there's one that didn't make it about teachers getting guns. And I don't work. Hey man, look, let me tell you something, dog. Like certain stuff has happened since we recorded, and I'm like, no, I want that one. I want people to see that one. Because again, there's so much that happened in between the time that we recorded that and now, right? We recorded in April, and we had somebody walk into the supermarket, pop out a bunch of black people for no reason. We had somebody walk into the school, and I had two jokes on the topics of white supremacy and, you know what I'm saying, how we shouldn't judge the kids because they go through so much and they get shot in school, and the best solution we have is giving teachers guns, that whole thing, right? I can't tell you. It's like
Can you get the footage?
Well, you know, it's one of those things where if I could, I wonder if I could release it on my own, right? Because if I can't get the footage from that taping, if they didn't use it, then I'm sure I could just tell those jokes and put it out that way, which, you know, I probably will do on TikTok and stuff. But man, I'm smiling right now.
So I guess because I don't know even, like, how are you and Pete even friends? Like, how did that?
Oh, man. Okay, so a couple funny things with that, right? And it's one of my favorite things about this whole thing that we did. So back when I was like 16, I don't know if you know Chris DiStefano.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
good friends with him.
Chrissy D was, you know, at Laugh Lounge, me and him. This like I was 16, so this got to be 2010, right? So 2010, it got to be 2010 because I met Pete in 2011. So it's 2010, maybe late 2010, probably like December or maybe even January 2011, right? One of those. But it was really late. And Chris came up to me. We in the green room at Laugh Lounge. He goes, hey, you know there's another 16-year-old out here, right? He's out in Staten Island. His name is Pete Davidson. I was like, oh, word.
Wait, do your best Chrissy D impersonation.
Damn, it's been so long since we've like talked. Because you know Chris got that that voice of like the frat dude, but he's also very educated. You know what I'm saying? And he's also very like goofy. So
goofy.
I don't like. I can't do the voice. I can do the mannerisms almost, because he was always like this, and his neck comes down when he talks to you. And I was shorter than.
He's big too.
Yeah, big guy, real big dude, and like. Fuck around if you want to, see if Chris, you're gonna get body slammed. People see the comedian, it's like, all right, that motherfucker played college basketball.
I know he played college ball. He's big.
He ain't the type of dude for you to fuck with. But he was like, you know, there's a 16-year-old out in Staten Island, right, named Pete Davidson. I was like, nah, but that's fire. Because back then, it was only, as far as I knew, that were as young as me. He was the only one that was as young as me, right? And then you had a couple of our friends that were older than us, but within the next, like, 3 years, like Jordan Rock, Matt Richards, Nick Alexander, so on and so forth, right? And it was cool to me to know there was somebody that was that young like me that was working, right? But I had never been to Staten Island before. I had never even taken that ferry. So I asked Chris, I said, is he black? He's like, nah. I said, nah. And then I did. I said, and then I was like, is he white? He said, yeah. I said, okay, cool. I said, he'll never be in my way, right? Yeah. And then the next year, funny enough, we were doing this comedy group called the Little Rascals of Comedy, right? And the comedian that put that together, we had maybe a squad of 7 comics. Okay. And one of the comics dropped out, right? And I'll never forget this shit. I was walking into the green room of Times Square Arts Center, and Matt Richards came over to me. And he's like, Neko, meet Pete Davidson, right? So I meet this kid in some fucking big-ass Timberlands in a hoodie, right? About as goofy looking as I am. About as tall as me, too. And we were cool from that moment. Like, he made my Twitter account maybe 3 days later at a Little Rascals meeting because I didn't know what the fuck Twitter was.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean you don't know what Twitter is? How fucking old are you, dude? Like, we're 17. What do you mean you don't know what Twitter is? Fucking made that Twitter account for me.
The irony is he's barely on social media now.
Well, yeah, that's the most hilarious part of the shit. I got a Twitter anniversary that came up. There's like, yo, you been on here for 10 years. I said, and the motherfucker that made this account for me don't even fuck with none of this shit no more. But yeah, we all remained cool after that. The first time I ever performed with homie, he had asked me to do a barn in Staten Island, right? So it's the whole cast from the Rascals of Comedy. We went down there, and it was just like, Staten Island's a weird looking place, right? I forget how to describe where we were, but it was like, you know those long metal shits that you'll see in like shipyards and stuff?
Yeah.
They were like doing a show out of one of those, and show was packed, did that. It was good. Everybody came back. And then we did the Little Rascals of Comedy show. Tore that shit up. And everybody from that group pretty much stayed friends.
Gotcha.
You know, and we've all been cool since then.
So you saw him before he was even on SNL and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. Before SNL, before Guy Code. I even remember when my first road gig was when he had did that, the shit that got him signed with Nick Cannon.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, gotcha. It used to be a showcase back in the day called the Fresh Face of Comedy Showcase that Nick Cannon would host.
Yeah.
And he did that. He had got signed. And I remember it because that was the same day that I did Lancaster, Pennsylvania, my first road gig ever with John Witherspoon from Friday. Right?
I feel like I know him.
And like I remember that night because he had texted everybody, yo, fucking, Nick Cannon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it went great. And yeah, certain shit like that just sticks out.
And so did you talk to him about the whole Kim thing?
Huh? No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can't talk about that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, there are things you can't talk about.
Huh? No. Ain't nothing I can't talk about. But I'm saying, like, legit. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like I say in the set, mind your business. Mind your business. Stay out grown folk business. You know what I'm saying? Before we go into homie and hit and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Tell these hoes more about what you're doing with your face. Felix out here eating pussy for free, asking no questions. Just come lay the box on the face.
No, but so do you guys do you hang out when you're in the city?
We don't get to do that too often because homie's busy all the time. Like the last couple times we've got to hang out, it's been like just running into each other and then at the Netflix joint. But whenever we do, and this is something that I appreciate, and this is about all of them because it's not just Pete, like our class in general. Everybody's so busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, at various levels, but you don't get to see everybody that often anymore because careers have taken shape, families have taken shape. So these days, you really appreciate all of that. And I think for me, the best part about that Netflix joint and just all of this was how organic it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all do actually know each other. We all actually came up together. And I'm one of those people that I truly think that the generation of comics that we come from, they see us, but they kind of act like they don't see us. So they don't take us seriously, right? And some of the most talented people have come from that generation, and they're here now. They're here now, and they're ready. You know what I mean? There's a comedian who you didn't get to see. What? There's a comedian that you didn't get to see on the tape that did the warm-up for the show, right? Named Matt Richards. Started out with everybody. He was on the Rascals too, and it's like, you know, it's one of the most talented guys I know. You know what I'm saying? That's here, ready. You know what I'm saying? At a high level, too. Same thing for Derek Gaines. He's another one. Here, ready. There's a bunch of comedians from our time. I'm talking about, I started in 2007. So let's go maybe 4 years earlier than that. From 2003 to 2011. There's a lot of comics that were good then that are great now, you know. So the fact that to be with them, like almost all grown up and shit, and to do that like that, I
think it's also cool, like, for, you know, to do it all together, and then also, like, you know, Pete, who's like become really like a super mega star, for him to like still want to showcase all of his other like star comedian friends on a huge platform.
He's been doing that for a while though, man.
Yeah.
Like if and I mean that's like That's probably the only thing I wish, like, you know, outside looking in, that I wish he got more credit for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you'll hear about that dude, whatever you hear about him in the news, tabloids, all that shit. But what gets to me is that, like, they type like there ain't a career before that. And it's like the career in that resume is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That resume is crazy. And if you look at his moves, he's only ever, you look at a project like The King of Staten Island, right? And you look at how many comedians from this scene that are in that movie, not trained actors, stand-up comedians that are in that movie that shined. Derek Gaines shined in that movie. Ricky Velez shined in that movie. Lynn Coplet shined in that movie. Bill Burr shined in that movie. It was damn near a for us, by us. And you don't see that very often because not a lot of people even get the chance to do that, right? But you don't see that very often. Right. Last time you probably seen that was with somebody like an Adam Sandler, right? Or a Kevin Hart. You know what I mean? But you know, to see that dude sometimes not get the credit for doing stuff like that, I think
chuck it on the what's it called?
Yeah, airplane mode.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
So to see him do those types of moves like that, and then, you know, man put his family on. So it's certain things like that, and because I know where that comes from, it's dope to see. He's an inspiring dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that goes for a lot of people that are on that show. You know what I'm saying? Peace, inspiring dude. Jordan Rock. I'll tell you this, Jordan closed the show, and Jordan closed that shit with presence. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he handled his position well.
So so you guys only did one taping?
We did 2 tapings in one night.
2 tapings in one night.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And was that your first or second set, the one that they
I think from the audio that I was hearing, it sounded more like the flow definitely was more like the second set, because I came right out and just got right to it. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at felix.levine, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.